at United, the ins, well, the in if it's Ten Hag, mate, or if we actually, and I want to get your opinion on it, most importantly, on who out of the candidates that has been muted and who has been talked about is the best option. But before we do that, we have got Shane here who's just walked past. He wants to just give his opinion on why Ten Hag should actually be here at United. Shane, talk to me, mate.
Shane. Leaving me out, would you, mate? No, nice one,
five. Anyway, let's come in shot here a little bit, mate. You just walked past and you were just giving me your opinion on Ten Hag, and you said Ten Hag in. Why do you think Ten Hag should still be given a chance?
Well, personally, I think first season was like over expectations, and second season maybe a bit lackluster. Like we didn't think it was going to like drop, like go downhill as it has. But I can see him being a great manager in the next couple of years. Obviously, we know United have got a second season syndrome where managers are getting sacked like a lot in the second season. But I think we should keep him. Like, for example, with Mikel Arteta, he wasn't great at the start, but now he's improved a lot. I think that's a good example.
Is it that whole myth of the second season? Because hardly any United managers got past that. Do you feel like INEOS being in charge is a big part of why you think Ten Hag deserves one more year at least, would you say?
Yeah. I think
the structure behind him.
Yeah, I think with a great team behind him. I think have we got Sir Jim Ratcliffe? Yeah.
It's all done and dusted, that, mate. Then, now, so it's like now it's all about what they can produce for a manager, if it's Ten Hag or it's a new manager coming in.
I think we're looking on the up at the moment. I mean, results maybe not, but
I was going to say where
the team we're looking like the team around Ten Hag. I think the players, most people are getting fully fit now. A couple injuries, but once we're fully fit, I think we'll be thriving. Yeah.
I know you got to get off to college, mate. So cheers for coming on, mate. Anyway,
cheers,
no
pal.
problem
nice
at all,
one.
buddy. Well, by the way, everyone, it's Forever United TV. If you didn't know already, you're tuning in for a reason. That is who you're watching right now. Double A. Welcome to the show, mate.
Thanks,
a little bit of another opinion there. Didn't expect it. Most people I've spoken to recently have been of Ten Hag's time is done. The rumours, it's looking that way. For you, where you're at right now?
I'm still not over the fact that I had to force an handshake out of him, to be honest with you, mate. That did my head in a little bit, but fair play to Shane. It's so good. That's a lot of optimism. Fair play to him. I think. See, I'm a bit more realistic, I think, than he might be. I think the idea of Ten Hag is a lot better than the reality. I think, like I say, last season, yes, I think we did overachieve to an extent, and I think we've seen maybe the real team now. I think I've said to you before that this season probably should have been the season it was after 21-22.
Yeah.
The way it's like a continuation of the 21-22 season with Ranić and stuff. I think we are truly seeing what these players are capable of. I think that new manager bounce carried us last season, and I think after the League Cup final was when we started to see the downturn, and Rashford didn't score for almost a year at Old Trafford or whatever.
Does it flummox you a little bit when you we do these shows, we talk, we go into all the detail, we look at reports, and just walking around Old Trafford here today, the first person that's come up to us said, "Oh, what are you on about? It's like Ten Hag needs to be in." It sort of throws you out and makes you second guess yourself as to like, have you missed something, doesn't it? It's like, what's he watching that? I'm not. He reckons it's good and it's upbeat.
Do you know? It's took me a long while to get to wanting a change in manager. I'm not saying I've been fully like backing him Ten Hag in, but it's one of those where you, like I say, you want to believe in something and what the manager is doing is right, and it can't be another manager thrown under the bus by these players, because we've seen it several times. Jose Mourinho was thrown under the bus at one point, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have all come, to the end of their tenure here because of the players, and I didn't want to see that happen again. But then you have to isolate it to what the manager's doing. Is the manager doing enough? Am I seeing enough from Ten Hag that's making me believe in his ideology and his thought process in what he wants to bring to Manchester United? And at the moment, I have to say no. I don't think what he's doing day by day on the pitch is working. We saw it. It's hard to go against on the derby. Obviously, it's a disappointing result, and it's a game. The second biggest game I don't want to lose in the season after Liverpool. But I can't sit here as a United fan and be happy with that output and that performance. I can't. Yes, if we go toe-to-toe for Manchester City, that we're going to get beat because they've got a lot better players. But for Manchester United to want to soak up pressure for 90 minutes in a derby, to score a breakaway goal and that be enough, and that be him come out and say it was a good performance, knocks me physically sick, mate.
Just to add context to that and what Double A's talking about there, you've seen Jamie Carragher's criticism of United the game before from Fulham, Thierry Henry, as we're watching at that, if you didn't see that analysis of Manchester United's performance and why United failed, not having an out ball and defending deep, it's like suicide on the pitch against a team like Man City. All of these factors rolled in, and Ten Hag and everything that he's done, it's hard to see how he survives. If INEOS want a fast-flowing style of football, which Sir Jim has said, then you only have to look back at what people are saying, what other people are witnessing that are not involved in the club. We can be red-tinted glasses, I think, most of the time. And I feel like that does take over a lot of opinion. I always look at the opinion from the outside. The opposition fan is the most important one because there's no bias. They're looking at it properly. They can see things that we are trying to make good that are just obviously bad. I think we've been clutching at straws for a while with a lot of players as well. Young lad there, Shane, saying it's the players as well that have been letting him down. There's been a lot of reports about a whole squad. Samuel Lucas from the MEN was saying in his report this morning that United can make a case for every single player in this squad to be out this summer, mate. A quick super chat from DJ John. Hi lads, am I first? Yes you are. First with a super chat, mate, and maybe first in the chat. But make sure you give the video a like, guys, while you're at it, and hit that subscribe button as well. But in terms of managers, AA, controversial opinion right now. Potter works for United in what we've got right here at this stage now.
I think he's mate, you threw me with that one. I wasn't expecting that to be so positive. Mate, listen, Chelsea are a big club, right? One of the most successful in the last 20 years or so. Maybe City have overtaken that now, and he drowned there. We know how Manchester United can swallow managers. And listen, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was never good enough to manage Manchester United. He was given the leeway and the allowed to spend more time here because he was a legend of the club. And we know that. Gary Neville admitted that himself on the interview. I was never going to slag him off because I played with him. We knew that already. Graham Potter would drown at Old Trafford right now. I think with these players as well, let's be honest, say the whole squad could go, it's not going to happen because we struggled to sell them anyway. And there's talk of some of the worst ones are going to stay. So I don't see Potter coming in here, and it doesn't matter if Ashworth is his best mate, if he's, his right-hand man,
You're not bothered if it works with the structure?
No, I don't think it can do, because day to day, he's not. Ashworth can't help him on the pitch, on the training pitch. He can't help him with in-game management.
Can't help him with big ego players.
No.
I'm only bringing this in and trying to flummox you there because that wasn't my opinion, actually. Someone actually messaged me in a comment and said, Potter works now with the structure. I've gone on in the last, honestly, mate, I think I've repeated myself about 4 times that I can remember off the top of my head this week, talking about how the manager isn't the most important person now. It's the structure above him. Is there a case for that? Or, like I've also argued in these shows, they're picking the right manager, which is going to enhance their reputations along, because they're not going to risk everything about bringing Man United back from the dead on a manager that doesn't fit and work with them. Does it have to work with them more rather than that manager being able, like you said, to handle being at United? What's more important?
I think, you look at it how, again, it's horrible to use them as an example, but it's the Manchester City model. I think everything they did was geared up for Pep. They knew Pep was coming in, so everything they made sure Pep was comfortable. Obviously, that's not going to happen here. So, obviously, Sir Jim coming in, he's going to have to get the right team together, that then they look at the right managers to bring in that fits their model. It has to be the manager that fits the model, not the model fits the manager, not the manager fits the model, or whichever way you want to look at it. And I think we need someone who's, for me, it shows now where Graham Potter is at, that it wasn't just him that was a successor at Brighton. If you look at, he was clearly working under a structure that made him better, because Zerbi's come in and done better than he had under the same structure, and Zerbi's admitted, I don't buy the players, I get told to work with them.
Then here's one for you. Got a chat here from Andrew, who says De Zerbi is still the more likeliest. On to De Zerbi, did he not just carry on riding that wave, that crest of a wave that Potter developed? And if he goes out of Europe this season and finishes where they pretty much are now in the league, where the credentials there? How are you backing up De Zerbi's shout there when he has finished worse than what Potter did?
I think he's a risk as well. I massively do. I think, again,
if he's a favourite now, is that worrying you?
Yeah, because again, you look at it, I can't go off last season, because apparently Ten Hag overachieved. I think Brighton overachieved last season, and it was Liverpool and Chelsea.
I agree, yeah.
Liverpool and Chelsea both had that poor season, which was what it was thrown at us as the reason why we finished top 3, because Liverpool and Chelsea weren't that good. So Brighton rode on that crest of a wave as well. We look at the semi-final. We should have probably got beat by them. I think I'd fancy us against them right now. I don't think that they're that good, and I think he has struggled in that. He's had that second season syndrome as well. Off the back of that, should he then get the Manchester United job? I don't think so. I think there's a lot better candidates out there, a lot better proven candidates out there that I think would fit better in what this club or INEOS want to try and do, where they want to try and take us. I think the name has to match that, and I think the credentials of the manager has to match that, and it can't be just based off, I know him, he's been my best man at my wedding. It can't be down to stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
Potter is not a shite manager. Don't forget the sporting coach, says Colin. Abbas says Harry Potter first instead of Chelsea Potter. Delaney Branco says this is Man United. We need better managers. Potter is shite manager, which is is a shite manager, which is why he's not in a job.
I don't think he's shite. I don't think he's bad. I just don't think he's top level.
Did he?
I just don't think he's a top level coach.
So,
manager.
right, okay. You agree with Double A? Get your comments in there right now, because I'm going to throw it straight back at you. Then, who? If Ten Hag goes, mate. So you look around. I've got my pick. I'll let you know what mine is in a minute.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watch shows and know who I would go with, but right now, realistically as well, we know who's available because of certain situations that they're in.
Yeah.
Who's the man?
For me, realistically, so Amorim, that release clause is apparently 30 million. So that's, again, I think that's straight out there. That's a no.
Who's that one, sorry?
Amorim from Sporting.
Oh, yes, sorry.
I think his release clause is 30 million.
Good manager.
I'd like it. Again, I think he's a Ten Hag risk. I think he's coming to the Premier League, similar to Ten Hag did, and I think he might struggle. Realistically, if you threw enough money, personally, my favourite who I would like to go with, and it's a risk maybe to get him out of Italy, would be Inzaghi. I think Inter. I say
Inzaghi, is that where you going?
I say go and get him. I think
for reasons because of like the stature of him. He's known. He commands respect. Is that important?
You know, he's smashing Serie A with Inter. He obviously got him to the final last season. I think he's proven. You know, he's taking his time. He's not just a flash in a pan. He's gone into a job. He's taking his time within the Serie A. He's got that big job at Italy, and I think it's worth him coming in. He's put a great. He's got Darmian playing unbelievable. He's got Alexis Sanchez playing unbelievable. United rejects are playing unbelievable right now.
It makes it worse, doesn't it, when it's our old players?
I think he's a top level manager, and I think it's one that it's not a Zidane, it's not the big names that people are thinking, Simeone and stuff like that. But he's good enough. He's like I say, he's cut his teeth. He's done his due diligence and works wonders at Inter. And I think again it might cost a pretty penny, but I think with the respect he probably would get coming straight in, I think he would be my first choice for sure.
Your first choice, do you agree? Is Inzaghi a shout? We'll get into this one. Zidane is that not going to Old Trafford? Forget about it. You missed the nut out of that one, mate, in the comment there. But if Zidane was good, he would explore more jobs, but he is afraid to fail, says Delano. Chris says Alonso won't come to United based solely on his Liverpool ties. Yeah. Same Ollie Outers clowns. Don't know what you're talking about there, mate. Honestly, there must be an argument going on in the chat again. It's always the case. And yeah, apparently INEOS have approached Pep and asked him if he wants to show the world he can do it without his club cheating 115 times. I didn't know about that. Nagelsmann's mine, mate.
Yeah,
I like Julian Nagelsmann. Yeah. He got sacked. I got let go by Bayern. Listening to people like Kevin Hatchard, European football experts, talking about that situation, how Bayern are where they are now, and it's not worked under Tuchel. They shouldn't have let go of Nagelsmann. There was issues behind the scenes. I feel what he did at Leipzig, he's got a reputation in developing younger players. He won the under-19s league with Hoffenheim as well. He was the champions there with them. Young players coming through at United. He's managed at an international level now because he's at Germany. Yeah. He's done every single part of football.
Yeah.
Good youth, won with Bayern.
Yeah.
Developed Leipzig. Now international level. He's used to dealing with a lot. He's used to dealing with big names. He's young. There is a vision there. You can see his style of football and what he wants to do. I just fear that United, and this is the question I want to ask you, that statement about the British core, does that worry you? Like we're not expanding our wings as much as we could, really?
Yeah, I mean, how many British players, English players, are really that good, or ones that we can get at Manchester United.
Well, let's not
No.
talk about that right now, because if England don't win the Euros, it'll be a crime. I think we've got the best squad, but managers, coaches even, mate, what's going on there? I mean, is this why Potter's being brought up? Simply
Maybe.
because...
Southgate yesterday as well. I mean...
Oh, don't... I've tried... Sorry, I wasn't going to bring it up, but he's dropped it right in on his ear now. He's dropped the Southgate comment. I wasn't even giving it serious thought. I'd like... If someone mentioned it to me, I'd be like, don't go there. Seriously, do not go there with Southgate. But...
I'd be
where
very
would he
worried.
go, by the way, Southgate? What do you reckon?
I think he
That's
struggled to. I
perfect.
think he struggled to get a Premier
Wolves?
League job. I think he struggled to get. No, I think Gary O'Neill's better than him. I don't think he gets a Premier League
That
job.
level sort of team.
You look at a Sheffield
that bad?
United. If their manager was to get, I mean, honestly, I don't. He's not a good manager. Listen, I don't support England, so it doesn't mean anything to
Actually,
me.
tell us, right, what's your finger? What's your national?
Brazil, mate. Because
Brazil?
I just fell in love with him as a kid, and England. Do you know what? Not turned me off England '98 with Beckham and that, and after that. Could never forgive him. So yeah, Brazil are mine. So I don't really care for England or what they do. So I definitely don't want English players playing for United. I'm not bothered about English players, but coaches, they're just as bad. I think it's very, you know. You would have said Eddie Howe a couple of years ago when he was at Bournemouth, when he was the sort of the up and coming young manager, tips to be England manager as well. He's done a good job at Newcastle, but again, you think where they want to be now, he's not probably ever going to get to that elite level where he'd get a top 6 job again, because I think, you know, eventually Newcastle are going to want to look for that elite manager. As soon as Mourinho was sacked, he was getting linked with them. So Potter and Southgate should be nowhere near, for me, a top 6 club wanting to vie for Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues. I think if either of them two managers are in charge of clubs, I don't think they're vying for the big competitions, and I don't think it doesn't matter how much they're rated by INEOS and the club. I don't think they've got the skill to get us to that level where we want to be. You're not going to start saying, "Oh, Klopp, Pep, and Potter." Right? It's not got. They don't roll off the tongue as well, and I don't think it inspires confidence in Manchester United fans, especially not me.
All I can hear is that. What's he called? That bad guy, the blonde one in Harry Potter.
Oh,
what's he called? That character? Malfoy.
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 Yeah.
Malfoy. Malfoy. It's like that Potter.
Harry
that's
Potter.
That's all you can hear, isn't it? Potter.
Not for me.
He's
Not for
got
me.
his own credentials. I mean, end of the day, mate, if he comes, you're gonna have to back him. That's the
Well-
word. Do you think this is why you lot of United fans right now are more worried? It's like we are obviously going to have to back whoever comes in. This is INEOS. They're new. Well, I said they're turning of a new page for United. The new era begins with ex-manager. Do you feel like the club fan base is sort of being forced into supporting whoever comes in, and this is why we're fearing this big decision that's coming?
Haven't we had to do that anyway, though? We've been forced to support
True, but
back
it's
the club.
like-
Like, you know,
This is our last hope for me. INEOS coming in right now is the only hope for United's future. So this is why this summer is so big.
yeah, you said something before. This decision has to be right. Like,
Yeah, it's
and
massive.
this is why, for me, I mean, we're saying it like Ten Hag's been sacked. He's not actually been sacked. He might save his job. You don't know.
Oh, hey,
But-
we go. It's quick. Just on that for you, man.
Yeah.
Sorry. Ten Hag, Zerbi, Potter, Southgate. There's 4 managers there. One's already here. Who are you having out of them for?
I'll keep Ten Hag, to be
There
honest
you
with you.
go.
I'll
That's it.
keep
Carry on, mate.
Ten Hag.
Simple question like that,
Yeah,
isn't it? It's like you'd rather stick with it because they're
Yeah.
of the same level.
Yeah, I think I'd say Ten Hag's probably got a bit more in the bank than Zerbi. He's won more. I think
he has.
You know,
he's more experienced.
I think
he knows
Zerbi's.
what's going on here, mate.
I think De Zerbi's another flash in the pan. I think we've seen this season he struggled. And imagine he was doing this at Manchester United. Again, he'd be in a similar situation as Ten Hag.
I said last night, though,
It'd be
if-
called for his head.
If Liverpool and City are in for De Zerbi, why United?
Yeah.
If it turns out to be that way,
Yeah.
what are we missing? Why are
well-
we judging him differently to what teams that are very successful?
Yeah.
How are they judging him?
Yeah. Maybe they know more than we do. Obviously, I think for Ten Hag, like I say, I just don't think he can turn it around. I just think he's got to that point now, and it's clear because the leaks are appearing again and again and again. I just think that the dressing room's turned on him, and I think I'm not saying that the players are down in tools. I'm not saying they're not playing for him. I just don't think they want him here, and certain players will not. And one in particular, I'm not going to name. He definitely doesn't want him here after multiple fallouts and that. So, well, yeah, I wasn't going to name it. I wasn't
I'm
gonna,
not afraid.
I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm just bored of saying his name. You're just bored
I know
of
what
saying
you mean
someone's
by
name. Like, I'm bored of saying that guy's name. So, it's one of them for me. I think Ten Hag's probably impossible job, and if we don't win the FA Cup, if we don't get top 4, you know, it's seen as a massive failure on last season. And my only, not hope for this season, like obviously you want to be pushing for the major honours, but the minimum for me was to close the gap on the top two. We finished third,
Yep,
so
I had that,
progress was to close that gap. We're not going to do that. We're you know, he's hoping for fifth, because fifth may get Champions League. We're saying that in January, February. For me, you failed.
It's
massively.
changed that, hasn't it? It changed very quickly. How we was fighting, looking to improve, getting the Champions League. Now we're hoping that it's fifth. The parameters seems to have been moved continuously. Like the standards bar is up and down and up and down, and now it's gone down again, I feel. And it's when he talks that does me. And you can't always bring that in. You've got to look at results on the pitch. And then I go, they're crap as well. And then when he opens his mouth, I'm thinking, oh, you're just nailing your coffin shut. And I can't defend him, I can't. And then I look at the work that he's done behind the scenes. I look at the work that he's done with dealing with the egos. And then I want to move on to that next. Did you watch that Ollie interview? That bit, I didn't see the bit where he was talking about that last game. And he mentioned anyone who wants to play at half-time, this was a half-time team talk, he's doing the rounds, and he has said this. I had to double check on it. And it was a case of, if you want to play, you can play. If you don't want to play, put your hands up. And Rashford and McTominay were both subbed off. Now, you can look into it in a few different ways, can't you? Like, you may be just like, it's not important, but did you want to see Ollie out? Are they bothered? Where's their attitudes? And again, these are the two longest serving players in this current squad. And how many managers have they seen off?
Exactly. Do you know what? I don't like watching things like I didn't watch the Rashford one because I don't care. Like, you're doing it before a derby. It's all about self-interest. I have no interest in it. The only one, I have a bit mixed feelings with Ollie. As a player, I love him. But as a manager, like I never wanted him at the club full time. I never thought he was good enough. And essentially, you know, it was what it was. So with these like PR, like coming out and doing this sort of damage control on your reputation, because he probably wants a new job now, I kind of stay away from it. I purposely watched it this morning, knew I was coming here, so I thought he's definitely going to ask me about it, so I better make sure I'm clued up and done my research. So him saying that, like I think it could be a coincidence, because listen, he has said how much he loved Fred and McTominay. So I'd be surprised if Scott McTominay.
Keane's face when he said that.
Yeah, but I'd be surprised if Scott McTominay, as much as I don't rate him as a footballer, his attitude doesn't seem like he's the type of player that would say, I don't fancy it. I don't fancy it. No, Rashford, yes. Yeah. McTominay,
I
probably
think Scott
not.
would run through a brick wall for you.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. I think he would be up for the fight. It's just the quality of the players not there and what we need.
Exactly.
And we all know that, but you can't. I've never questioned McTominay's desire to be in that United shirt. Yeah. Other players I can, but not him. I think that's where I've always sort of had that bit for Scott. Yeah. Like that hold on, squad player, knows his role, he's happy to be there and accept he is a bench player. I think he has got that in him. He knows what United's about. Yeah. And I think he does help some of the younger players. Mark Lambridge with the Super Chat says, whoever we go for has to reject Barca/Liverpool /Bayern Munich. That's the point in the manager side of it. Quickly on that, there's a lot of better jobs that you would say than Man United out there for managers, isn't there?
No. Did he have to?
Red tinted glasses?
No, but did he have to reject it? Like, this is the thing. Like, Barcelona are in the shit. Let's be honest with you. Like, their squad is aging. They've not got a great squad.
Poison chalice, that place.
Massively. Like, and listen, you're going to La Liga where Real Madrid with their squad are going to win that league for the next 5-10 years. I don't see that. You know, if they get Davies as well, I think they're only getting better and better. Like, honestly, so they're not. I don't think Barca, unless they pump money they haven't got into it, it's a poison chalice. Liverpool job, yes, that is obviously a big one.
Would you want to follow Klopp?
This is it. I was going to say, would you want to follow Klopp? It's not on the Fergie level, but it's someone you're following.
That's why I think Alonso's going buying me.
You're following a great, and that's why I mean probably failed, because he followed Wenger and he was on the hiding to nothing anyway. So Manchester United is always going to be a job that people want, regardless of where Manchester United are. And at the moment, you know, we are in the shit a little bit, but I think the project will be sold to the next manager, and I think it'll be sold well by INEOS. And listen, again, it's we've been saying it for 10 years, but every manager wants to be the manager to make Manchester United great again, regardless of, you know, we've had Van Gaal, we've had
they're the
Mourinho.
one that can do it.
Yeah, because you have to back yourself in any walk of life. You know, it's players walking into a dressing room know they're the best player in the world when you walk in. You have to have that about you. That's why you are at a top level position in football. Like, and managers will think the exact same thing. And once they put their points across to the in the interview that they want the job and what they plan for, and what if it aligns with INEOS. And listen, they're going to pay good money, aren't they? So, again, it ties in all together that Manchester United will always be a massive project and a massive, massive pull for anyone, not just managers, players as well. It always will be.
Yeah. Cheers for tuning in as always, guys. We're not finished yet, but I just wanted to say, give the video a like. Live outside, anything can happen. We've had people come on giving their opinion. Just want to update you on what's just pulled up next to us. No, it's not a party bus. It is the Wally Range High School bus. There's a few kids on a little bit of the tour, I think, here today. But from the camera shot I've just seen there, it looks something weird that's just parked up next to us randomly at Old Trafford. But it's blocked a bit of the wind away, so it's doing its job anyway. Big shout out to Josh behind the camera as well, who's holding it steady for us right now, because it is blowing a little bit. It's bitter.
His hand must be freezing.
Yeah, but back onto the players, the Ollie side of things. Cristiano Ronaldo was one point. I had my say on that yesterday. I think that shows the player power situation that has been at a football club that I can see Ronaldo, that I can see Rashford leading into off that, telling the manager how many games he's playing, when to rest him, then still moaning about when he does get rested. It just shows you that this club was like the inmates were running the asylum. I've always said this. Yeah. It was clear from the outside that it wasn't the manager's say-so. And it all comes back down again to this audit. Everything that INEOS have done, they've spoken to Ralph Rangnick, for God's sake. Now, if there's one man that is going to out everything that is wrong, it's him. I think they would have spoken to Ole. I said this yesterday. But is this important now that all this is now coming out on the eve of what is going to be one of the biggest points of Manchester United's history in this turnaround with INEOS? Is it important that all of this dirt is coming out now? Yeah. And we can really just reset it, clean slate, move forward. It's important. And again, like we said at the top of this video, this is a massive, massive decision now. It has to be perfect, doesn't it? Yeah.
Oh, mate, absolutely. We can't continue the way we're going, and that's why the Glazers, as wrong as I think it is, have allowed someone to come in part ownership. And listen, it doesn't matter for them. Obviously, being over in America, don't really care about this place. They can't lose, can they? Because they've handed it over to someone. If they fail, if Sir Jim fails, well, what else can we do? We've let a football guy come in, and he can't do the job either. So obviously, it's clearly not us. So that's why I was saying with Barada, maybe. I'm not saying he's the wrong man, but whoever, as soon as it got ratified and it was announced that Sir Jim had taken, they had to have had everyone come in at the same point, because from day one, that whole team should have been, we shouldn't still be waiting for Ashworth. That CEO and that director of football. Yeah, because how important is this? Like you say, it could be one of the biggest summers Manchester United have had in 20 years. So with the players expected to go out and the players expected to come in, the manager situation, the CEO and the director of football, sporting director, however you want to call it, should have been there from day one working alongside them, because now we can plan for the summer in terms of the transfers, and if the manager's the right man, and if he's not the right man, and you want a change, you work on it now, because then you can set your plan for the summer and get the right man to come in. If Nagelman is the man you want, and I agree with what you're saying on him, I think he's a fantastic manager, probably had a little bit too much mud thrown at him, and buying of what is it, 9 managers in 10 years or something still like that. It's clearly the environment rather than the men that are going in there sometimes. I wouldn't be sad if he came in as a manager either, but if he's the man you want, and you plan for him, because obviously he's going to be at the Euro, so he's not going to come in till July. So you need to have everything in place for this next man to come in, or if it is Ten Hag, you're getting the people in that he wants in terms of players for the summer, and it just had to be from day one for me. So hopefully they've got a plan, and I believe he is helping the club with respect to the gardening leave, but we just have to, it's a hope and a prayer that Manchester United can get it right this time.
Yeah, get ready for the noise, here come the kids. But the biggest thing in all of this is that 3-year project. Double A. It's like, do you feel like he was right putting a timescale on it? I mean, it's good for us to hear now, but do you feel like he sort of made this harder for himself?
Yeah,
confident,
I think again you have to be, don't you, when you come into things?
This is, by the way.
I think you have to come in and show that chest straight away. I think it's one of those where you can't wait around, and he said himself, I've not got time to waste. But when the people that, for myself, who I don't really fully trust this INEOS buy-in. You know, I do think they're a bit of Glazer sympathisers for whatever reasons. You know, I'm not saying I am one of these people, but the people that don't want INEOS or wanted the full buyout, you know, wanted the Glazers gone. If he doesn't deliver in 3 years, he's failed. So you're putting a noose around your own neck essentially, because now you have to deliver these goods in 3 years. And we know in football, like, it's an ever-changing cycle. Who knows? Newcastle could be the best team in the world in 3 years' time. City could be nowhere. Pep's gone. Klopp has not been replaced. They could. You don't know where you're going to be. So if you have a plan, I fully get that. But you don't. You can't. That time scale for me is dangerous because, like I say, it's a noose around your neck, and if you don't live up to it and it doesn't work out, you failed.
The more we think about it, the more we actually look at that 3 year. It just puts everything into focus about what's to happen this summer. We're hearing about the players that need to be gone. The audit that's been done, we will know. I think INEOS and the structure will know who are not going to work as players. They need to get the right manager to balance their expectations, and then them expectations. You just pretty much summed up there, Double A, the whole fan base's thoughts on what happens if we are out of the top 4 in 3 years.
Yeah.
Where do this fan base turn? What are the opinions of Sir Jim Ratcliffe? How does he turn that around? Because that, I feel, is going to be his biggest hurdle. That's going to be the biggest problem now. It's like he's set the timer.
Yeah.
Everyone's pressed start, and now we're waiting. So he cannot see that 3 year period out with a core of the players that are here right now. And that's in the first year for me.
Yeah.
Right now, if he wants to get off to a good start, half of that squad needs to go.
Has to be an exodus.
Has to go, and that's down to them.
Yeah,
And work needs to start soon enough. So realistically, when it comes to the decision on the manager, it brings it all together as a package, really, doesn't it? It's like make the decision now because you know who you need to get, and then start working on the players and be ready for the start of next season. Because if it's Ten Hag, it's a new deal.
Mm-hmm.
He needs these players in that he thinks he's going to be able to bring this so-called fast-flowing football, passing out from the back that Ten Hag says he does do.
Yeah.
It scares me a little bit, man. That's what I'm trying to say. It's sort of like I want it to work for him so bad because of what you just described, like the doubters. I'm trying to make this positive. I'm sick of the negativity around the football club.
Yeah.
That's I'm really scared about that time period more than anything now and this decision.
Yeah, it's funny because we're kind of at the moment with everything that goes on the pitch and the whole sort of mystery surrounding what they're going to do and stuff like that. You're kind of clinging on to any piece, like nugget of positivity that comes out. Obviously, Barada being that, coming out of nowhere was massive. Ashworth, is he the man? The man they want? What worries me there? Why is it taking so long? And Newcastle want this or this? And if he's your man you want, you go and get him because, like you say, this summer is like I say, could be one of the biggest in 20 years. I don't fully believe the exodus will happen the way we want it. I don't think all these players that should go, and I think they're targeting the wrong players. I think if it's coming down to money is the reason why you're getting rid of players rather than football ability, we're already onto a loser. If you're telling me, and I'll use these as an example, if you're telling me that you want to keep Maguire and McTominay over Varane and Casemiro, straight away, how's that any better where we are? Because those two have come in and been two of our best players. I think Varane this season has been unreal. I think he's put to bed the injury prone stuff. He goes off against Fulham. People didn't expect him to play. He plays in the next game on the Wednesday, then plays in the derby as well. So he's proven again that how top class he is. If you're telling me you want rid of him just because of his wage that you've put him on, or the Glazers have put him on, and that's the sole reason why you want rid, already to me that. How are we any better? How are we moving in the right direction? And I'd rather keep aging Varane and Casemiro in the squad when you're bringing in other players, younger players who can take over them in 2 years' time, than keep players who have consistently failed in a team or don't progress us any better when they play. I mean, again, it's how are we improving? How is this new change in ownership any better than what was previously here?
Yeah, that's it. Guys, that pretty much sums everything up. I think Double A's finished it off nicely there. What I want you to answer me in the comment section when this video is finished is this simple question. 4 players, 4 managers I'm talking about here. Ten Hag, Zerbi, Potter and Southgate. Which one of them would you rather have at Manchester United going forward? Answer that in the comments. Give the video a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're tuning in for the first time. And we'll see you all later on. Cheers for watching, guys.